Attack on Your Mind, Part 2, Religious Dilution. How the informational entertainment media mind-capturing apparatus is corroding religion. In Part 1 of this series, I made mention of the role modern religion, specifically Christianity, has in regard to the informational entertainment media mind-capturing apparatus. I promise I will come up with a better name, or at least acronym, but IEMCA just doesn't do it. As a Christian and semi-recent convert, I can see this with what I believe to be a clear eye. You see, I grew up Catholic, left religion altogether from the ages of about 15 to 34, and have since jumped in, as a Protestant, sorry Grandma, with a zeal of a true convert. I got to see Catholicism, which I found is drastically different from Protestantism, before social media. Before different institutions had the ability to influence things the way they do today. The internet was still a toddler when I was a kid. I don't think our parish even had a website. Fast forward to now, and the Pope is one of the most popular Twitter accounts in the world. Priests have popular YouTube channels, and the church is clearly allowing itself to be influenced into doctrinal change at a rate it never has. But my Catholic brethren really have nothing on us Protestants when it comes to wholesale acceptance of the mind attack worldview. The megachurches of evangelism, along with the church planting model, have corporatized Christianity in a way that makes a lifelong corporate worker like me cringe. Where I live in Minnesota, we have a great example. Brook Church currently has 8 enormous sites, with a 9th on the way. I know publicly traded companies that aren't as well organized. Brook delivers a rock concert, Tony Robbins-style seminar, and Starbucks, all in a 60-minute hyper-efficient package. They offer services twice on Saturday and twice on Sunday. The thing is, their music is great. Their sermons are pitch perfect. They offer artisan coffee and baked goods, not for free, made by professional baristas. You can enjoy this extravaganza very flexibly and comfortably while someone watches your kids. You really don't have to think about God the whole time if you don't want to. I don't want to pick on this church that has, no doubt, brought more souls to Christ than I could ever dream of. But I think they can handle the criticisms of a guy whose current Substack subscriber list consists of his wife and mother. I should be careful, because the little church I go to is not immune from most of what I'll discuss. But I believe there is a Rubicon to be crossed in this regard. When the church's first mission becomes growth, they have crossed. Not a single church will admit this, but it's painfully obvious. So how do they do it? How do these churches go from a couple hundred members to tens of thousands in under a decade? The catalyst is usually a very charismatic pastor. But charismatic pastors are not new, nor rare. No, these churches run exactly like a corporation. And today, a corporation in search of eyeballs uses social media. The problem is that corporations, especially successful modern ones, do not care about people. At all. Oh, they may say they do, or even think they do, but they don't. They really can't. Corporations have evolved to insulate decision-making from the legal consequences it might bring. But there are virtually no corporations with the same systemic checks on consequences that won't get the corporation in legal or financial trouble. Shareholder supremacy and erosion of values has led to this point. Some, not me, may argue that this is an acceptable way for a corporation to behave. They at least have reasoned arguments for this, however lacking in basic morality they may be. But the problem lies in the fact that so many churches are following the exact same model. Take a drive through the American South or Midwest for any length of time, and you'll see them everywhere. Prefabbed poured concrete walls, framing a huge gray box with a church name on the outside. If not for the prominent cross, they may be mistaken for Amazon distribution centers. Many will say aesthetics don't matter. Getting together to worship God is what matters. They'll no doubt use the same first-century Christians' arguments and remind me that they aren't doing anything that isn't in the Bible. But let's be real. If St. Paul came to 2022 and walked into your strip mall church, seeing people staring at their phones and watched you preach for 40 minutes without even mentioning God, he wouldn't affirm your first-century status. Many shy away from openly saying this, but far too many of our churches are concerned solely with gaining and keeping butts in seats. I would wager a full quarter of them would drop the Trinity in return for a tenfold increase in their roles. They aren't operating as churches. They're operating as pyramid schemes that only work because they have the best base sales system in the literal universe. As much as it gives me near physical pain to say so, I have to say that these outfits are barely better than the political operations, masquerading as churches that now grace us with their presence. Churches like the UCC, MCC, and even Episcopal Church, who seem to exist solely to affirm gay marriage and homosexual acts. On my way back to faith, I spent a couple Sunday mornings in Episcopal Church services and was a little surprised to hear the priests spend both sermons talking about the importance of legalizing gay marriage. As someone who spends an inordinate amount of time reading about the recent and distant history of Marxist thought and tactics, this vector of attack is not surprising. Religion, especially the Abrahamic variety, is the kryptonite of authoritarians over the past 2 centuries especially, and it still is today. The intelligent and truly believing mind of a Jew, Christian, or Muslim is extremely well defended, even from the advanced mental warfare of today's mental battlefield. It's no surprise, then, that we have seen the veneration or even tacit endorsement of the truly religious completely vanish from popular culture of the past several decades. Your average Christian American simply isn't as efficient a consumer as your secular one. Sure, they are overindulgent and materialistic. Sure, they still watch a lot of TV and consume social media. Sure, they are still fat and unhappy, but not as much so, on average, as your devoted secular consumer. They aren't quite as materialistic, not quite as likely to see a Marvel movie or drink a Coke or respond to the marketing of childless wine ant marketing executives. This is probably why Orthodox Christianity's membership is swelling. It gives the serious believer what they're really after, the diametric opposite of the informational entertainment media mind capturing apparatus. They want their mind to be captured, along with their heart and soul. They can offer their hearts to God and have them taken somewhere that feels transcendent and real, somewhere beyond fleeting bursts of dopamine and depleted stores of serotonin. Because, in the end, that's all modernity, with all its hyper-studied scientific bells and whistles, can offer. They believe we are just a meat sack, ruled by chemical reactions, so they manipulate us as such. Sadly, it works. For many, there is no need for the mystic. There is no need to attempt any oneness with God. You can just slip and slide down the chemical water slide and probably make it all the way to the end, without getting off. We can now program our wetware via pharmacological code. Slide through 80 or so years just comfortable enough. No need to do much beyond go to the doctor for a tune-up when things get a little gloomy. The staggering reality is that you can draw a direct and tracking line between the decline in religious affiliation and the increase in depression. Is this the only factor? Probably not. But it may surprise you to know that about 20% of women in America are taking SSRIs. So how do we armor our minds and souls from this vector of attack? Well, that one has already been written for me. We put on the spiritual armor. We run every aspect of our lives through the Jesus test. Lucky for us, there is a whole book dedicated to exactly this. Every decision we make, we should seek to consult God. I want to see the new Batman movie. Okay, why is that? What is likely to be in it? What is your motivation for seeing it? All of these questions should be asked through the lens of the Bible. Remember, we are here to save our souls, to protect our minds from the onslaught. If it's not clear by now, then heed this. Every single piece of mass media that comes out today is loaded with something. Someone or something has injected an attack into it. Nothing is pure. Nothing is without political or ideological virus dripping from it. With very rare exception, the minds that are creating this mass media have an agenda. That agenda may be something simple like making money. But we're lucky if that's it. Corporations, politicians, the elites, really whoever we want to peg as the boogeymen, know that there are a lot of religious people still out there. Have you noticed they've essentially stopped trying to market you through your religion? Serious religiosity is now essentially taboo in popular culture. Try being anything more than mildly openly Christian at a Fortune 500 company. You're quite literally better off as a trans felon in Silicon Valley than a member of the Knights of Columbus. This may seem extreme or feel like a lot. I get that, but you'd be shocked at how easy it comes after a short while. The God filter simply needs to be inserted at the beginning of the decision process. It can and has been done by people much lower in life than most that will be reading this. Alcoholics Anonymous has successfully gotten millions of low-bottom drunks to change their lives completely, and a big part of it is this simple concept. So just do it. Wake up, pray, and ask God to guide you this day. Force yourself to see the world through the lens. The more you read the Bible, the more automatic it will get. The more you engage your church community, the more automatic it will get. Then one day, maybe a year, maybe 2 down the road, you'll climb into bed at night and it will click. You'll realize that you've been connected to God all day, that you ran most of your decisions through God, not yourself. And when you do that, you'll have placed an almost impenetrable wall between yourself and the clumsily named informational entertainment media mind-capturing apparatus. Your mind and soul will be captured by the King of the universe,